Many years after first irradiating public consciousness, I see demon core memes almost every single day. But recently, they've evolved into something new: demon core weapons. Since you degenerates insist on making this cursed historical object something haha silly, we might as well take the time today to evaluate these weapons and to see if they are designed correctly. In doing so, we might even come up with something even worse.
Wow, that sounds like something a supervillain would say.
No, Arya, I'm not a supervillain. I'm not. If anyone knows supervillains, it's me, which I'm not. And if I was, which I'm not, I would know it. Because supervillains, if I were to know, I would know them. And if anyone's a supervillain, it's not me. I would know that. If anyone knows I'm not a supervillain.
Now entering the facility.
Before we get into it, two things. First of all, demon core memes are kind of my fault, so I brought this on myself. Second, is it totally chill, yo, to make light of the deaths of two young physicists in 1945 and 6? No, it isn't. Anyway, after the general demon core meme came an evolution into the anime demon core meme, and now demon core weapons, grenades, rifles, landmines. But a lot of you seem to think that all of these weapon designs are equal, that they would all be equally effective. That's not true. Do you even know how radiation works? Have I taught you nothing?
You taught me that everything evolves into crab.
No, only things that are already crab-like will be, you are not going to evolve. Moving on. Okay, if you want to make a proper meme, you must first understand the basics. The demon core was the name given to a 6.2 kilogram sphere of subcritical plutonium-239, which in 1945 and 1946 was made to go critical, leading to the deaths of two physicists, Harry K. Daghlian Jr. and Louis Slotin. If you'd like to learn more, we have the most viewed video about the demon core on the entire internet. But for today's purposes, you need to understand three things. Plutonium-239 is one of the primary fissile isotopes, the other two being uranium-233 and 235. There are others, but these are the easiest to find and produce. When plutonium-239 is split by an incoming neutron, like you see here for uranium-235, it separates into two more stable nuclei and releases neutrons and gamma rays. This is the first demon core weapon design constraint. Gamma rays and neutrons are the most penetrative forms of radiation, and therefore require special shielding. The second constraint is that radiation sickness is not your typical combat outcome. While there have been a few cases in history where criticality accidents have more or less incapacitated a victim via confusion and gastrointestinal distress, acute radiation syndrome doesn't exactly stop an enemy combatant from firing a bullet or dropping a bomb. Typically, in terms of effectiveness, you want your weapon to otherwise remove an enemy from combat entirely.
This still all sounds really evil.
Don't worry, Arya. This is for meme purposes only and not a secret weapons project of mine. The last constraint is the inverse square law. Because the demon core is a point source of radiation, the intensity of that radiation will decrease proportionately with the square of the distance from it. This means, very much like a grenade, a demon core weapon will have a relatively small range of effectiveness. You don't have to be very far from it before the intensity of the radiation coming from the core would be but a fraction of what it is right next to it. If you're following so far, I think many of you can guess that a lot of these weapons are going to be, bad. But in going through them, I think that we can learn something and maybe make some changes of our own. Not evil. I said it first. That means I'm right. We said that you need a special kind of shielding against the demon core, and that's because when something like the demon core is going critical, those nuclear fission events release a lot of neutrons. Now, neutrons are electrically neutral, and so they are not stopped by ordinary matter in the same way. Alpha and beta radiation, on the other hand, is positively and negatively charged respectively. Because positive and negative charges can attract and repel, alpha and beta radiation is stopped pretty easily because as it travels through matter, that matter has electrons in it and it interacts with that radiation. Gamma ray photons and neutrons do not have an electric charge, and so they are much harder to stop. Gamma photons need a lot of dense material in their way before they finally deposit all of their energy, and neutrons need something a little bit different. Think of two billiard balls. You know when you hit a ball just right, and it impacts another ball and it transfers almost all of its momentum perfectly? That is basically an elastic collision, and this can happen with subatomic particles. What you would want is one particle hitting another with a similar amount of mass. Well, do you know what has a similar amount of mass to a neutron? A hydrogen atom. Do you know what has a lot of hydrogen atoms in it and is easy to get and is everywhere? Water. And so, water is a good neutron shield because hydrogen atoms interact elastically with the neutrons and stop them in their tracks. And before I forget, another really fun fact about neutrons is that, I guess I'm just stopping talking about, okay, fine, let's into it. Now that we're thinking about radiation shielding, you'll notice that many of these weapons are going to be, single-use kind of things. But let's go through them anyway and rank them, shall we? This Demon Core gun is a fun idea, but it fails every design constraint. There isn't enough shielding to protect the user or aim a beam, and the core is super close to you and far away from the target. Definitely the worst design of the 6 that I found. The Demon Core Flail, a melee weapon with no shielding whatsoever. Both the attacker and the target are equally irradiated by this one. However, I'll give it a slight edge over the rifle because simply smacking someone in the face with 6.2 kilograms of metal would probably do the trick. This is number 5. Now we're getting creative. This evil toy is thinking about shielding, and it's at least thinking about moving the core much closer to the target and further away from you. But good luck extending 6 kilograms of heavy metal on the end of some plastic. 4 out of 6. Okay, now things are getting scary. With a good throw, you could create a no-go zone anywhere you wanted to. Something similar has happened before in Russia, if you'd like to learn more. However, this weapon is likely to get less effective over time, as heat from the reaction will inevitably change the geometry of the grenade and make it subcritical. Oh, and an enemy could just pick it up and throw it back at you, like a cursed Call of Duty kill cam. Rank 3. This thing terrifies me. A Demon Core landmine wouldn't disassemble itself because the springs reset it. It would be secretly irradiating enemies because they can't feel the gamma and neutron radiation, and they can't see any air glow because it's underground. Its flaw is that, unlike traditional landmines, this one would be much easier to find. All you would need is a Geiger counter, and it's only dangerous if someone just so happens to step on it. Still, this is super sinister, second best meme weapon. The number 1 Demon Core meme weapon is also the dumbest. The cymbal-banging monkey toy Demon Core. Turn this little dummy on and have him wiggle into an enemy position, creating a fatal criticality accident every second or so. The core is never together long enough to disassemble itself, so the chimp effectively creates a moving death zone. Even so, you could just stand 10 meters away from it and shoot it to stop it. The monkey isn't perfect, but it's just dumb enough to work. It's number 1. These memes are ha-ha funny silly time, but ultimately to me they fall a little, flat. If you really think about the design constraints and how criticality actually works, I think you can come up with something pretty bad. My first thought was this: the Demon Drone. Drones have already changed the face of modern warfare, and this one is a remotely operated criticality accident flying over enemy locations at high speed. But because it needs to be light and it can't shield its own electronics and it can be shot down as easily as the monkey, introducing the Plutonium Panzer.
Oh my god.
It's a tank that fires radiation instead of shells. How does it work, you ask? Well, just like we do with point sources of intense radiation like cobalt-60 in cancer therapy, the Panzer activates the core and opens an aperture in the barrel for the radiation to escape. The radiation is then collimated into a beam that, when it was first invented in real life, was called the cancer bomb. The Plutonium Panzer is a mobile, shielded, hard-to-take-out piece of armor with a directed radiation beam cancer bomb weapon. This is the kind of thing Tim Curry would get excited about in Command & Conquer, Space! So I know it's gotta be a good idea. The plutonium panzer is my S-tier take on the Demon Core weapon meme, but I'm sure that you can think of something better. If you have an idea, let me know in the comments. Think about radiation shielding, acute radiation syndrome, the inverse square law. Add some real knowledge to your fascination with this cursed object. Don't worry, you're not a supervillain just because you like to think about this kind of stuff. Until next time.
Administrator, the Cobalt 60 crossbow is ready for deployment.
That is for sport fishing and not for hunting the most dangerous game. It's not for people!
Now exiting the facility.
Thank you for watching, and thank you so much to the very nerdy staff here at the facility for their direct and substantial support in the creation of this here video. Hey, if you want videos early, if you want private live streams with me, if you want to vote on titles and thumbnails, join our private Discord, and get the exclusive Patreon podcast, office hours, they say, with ADEF and myself, go to patreon.com/Kyle Hill and become a facility member today. And hey, if you support us just enough, you get your name in every single video. How about that? Well, and there's so many. How am I possibly going to fill? So one thing I do want to come back to just a little bit. I know that it's not exactly totally cool to make light of a historical event where people died, but even though it's kind of my fault, but it's now in the zeitgeist. It has been released into the wild. The genie's out of the bottle. There's nothing that can be done to put it back in that bottle. And so I think at least taking the time to inform people about what it actually is, even if we're talking about it in a meme context and how these things actually work, will ultimately be for a good purpose that isn't just reveling in the morbid curiosity part. That's how I sleep at night. Thanks for watching.